The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of KSMQ Public Service Media Incorporated or its assigns.
Hey, welcome to On Cue. I'm your host, Eric Olson. Would you like to be more refreshed? Find ways to make your life healthier, happier? Well, stay tuned because Sandy Anderson from Mower Refreshed will be here today to talk about how this initiative, Mower Refreshed, can help you. You also won't want to miss our visit from Bosco and his Canine handler, Officer Eric Blust. Oh man, intense. And of course, we'll have a Vision 2020 update. Stay with us. On Cue is coming right up.
From KSMQ Television in Austin, this is On Cue, connecting interesting issues and interesting people. On Cue.
Mower Refreshed is far-reaching with its activities and the number of people involved. Today, Coordinator Sandy Anderson joins us to talk about their recent strategic planning and what that means for all of us in the region. Welcome, Sandy.
Hi, thanks for having me.
And congratulations on the success of Mower Refreshed. You were the first person to head up this venture we were talking about 3 years ago, and it's grown and grown. We even have other counties around Mower County that are taking your model, the Mower Refreshed model, and making it their own.
Exactly. Back in 2010, there was some very important research that was done locally in Mower County and identified some health concerns that we had. And so from that, the medical center went ahead and created an FTE, a position, to be able to make sure that that research continued to move forward and that we had action to it, and we didn't just say, oh, here's information, we're not going to do anything about it. And so from that, exactly, a movement has evolved. And Dodge County that's our newest branch, Dodge Refreshed, and they are taking this model and starting to integrate it there as well. So it's exciting.
And we recently, you recently had a wellness summit. You had one last year also. And it was kind of a way, it was over 2 days, and it was kind of a way for, I think, everybody to take stock of what you have accomplished in the region as far as helping people make healthier choices, and then how you want best to move forward. And through that, you're doing some planning.
Absolutely. We have 3 teams that we focus in on that were, again, based out of that research: healthier choices, mental fitness, and workforce wellness. And so at this summit, what we did was we had those teams ask the participants to help us process through specific challenges that they're having. It was very engaging, very insightful. So our next step is to take our team leaders and our teams and also community members that are interested county-wide, and we will have a gathering to be able to continue processing through and actually, again, moving into action. And that's the key, is that we don't want to just sit on ideas, we want to actually move them into action, but they need to be meaningful. They also need to be sustainable, and we want to make them as cost-effective as possible, because we know if we do that, it's going to be easier to duplicate those things in other counties.
And you've said something that I've remembered in the past, and you've said that you want Mower Refreshed to be a movement, not a program. I believe that's the way you said it.
Absolutely.
Can you explain what you mean by that?
Yes. You know, in our early years, around 2011, we still didn't have a name for this. We just knew that we had this information and we needed to move forward with it. So you're having volunteers coming to the table, and obviously we need to come up with a name, but we also needed to identify what in fact we were. And it was a volunteer that really pointed out that programs, and this is actually from a book that he had read, Brains on Fire, programs are like light switches. You turn them on and you turn them off, so they have a lifespan. Movements are like volume dials. they're always on. Sometimes they're louder, sometimes they're softer. And that really clicked for our steering committee. It clicked for our team members to be able to say, that's exactly what we are. So, you know, jokingly now at our team meetings, we'll often say, wow, the volume's really high, just because there's a lot of movement happening and action happening. So it's exciting because we see this moving forward throughout the generations, because we're involving people from all generations in this.
And you have a new item or a new called Lunch and Learn. I almost said program, but within the movement, Mower Refreshed, something called Lunch and Learn.
Lunch and Learns, yes, Refreshed Lunch and Learns. And this is growing out of our workforce wellness team. And what they are offering, again, you know, everything that we do is based on citizen input. So if citizens are saying this is what we need in terms of making our workplace or our schools or our homes or families healthier, we want to respond to that. And so the workplace let this be known to us. And we have what are called Refreshed Lunch and Learns. We had our first one recently, and it was very successful. And so we're going to continue to have them every other month. And what we do is we take a particular topic, a particular challenge that the participants have said is happening in their workplace. And then we process through that to find out really what are the root challenges there, and then come up with solutions. One of the things in business we find that we often, we see a challenge and we name it very quickly, and then we come up with a solution very quickly, versus taking the time to find out, is that really the challenge, or is there something deeper than that? Because that changes your solutions then, and how you're going to approach it. So we were very excited with the first Lunch and Learn, and we believe it will be valuable because it's really driven by those that are in the workforce to benefit those in the workforce and their families.
One of the workshops, or one of the comments that was made at one of the the summit, was that I remember somebody saying that the perception is that healthier food is not as convenient to get a hold of as fast food. You know, I as a father, a parent, it's easy to use that belief as kind of a crutch to say, well, you know, I don't have all this time to cook healthy or eat healthy, and there's all this convenience that might not be as good. But so what you're talking about with finding out the actual causes, that's not necessarily the case. So how do we educate families instead of just throwing in the towel and giving up?
You know, a big part of what we do is partner. We partner with businesses and organizations that are working towards similar solutions. So for instance, with that situation, you know, yes, time is a factor, but then we sit back and we go, so what really is the issue? We have a lot of two parents working outside the home, single parents, those types of challenges. But when we start looking at, you know, what might be that root issue, part of it is that we've let our calendar get out of control. Part of it is that we've allowed the culture to influence what happens on our family calendar. And also coming up with creative solutions, you know, making meals with your family. This is another one of our efforts coming out of the Healthier Choices team, is reviving that meal time with families. And that meal preparation and the eating of a meal together, even though it might feel like it takes more time, you're actually doing a couple things at the same time. You're building relationships with your children, and that's creating stronger resilience really for them as they go into their teen years and adulthood. So it becomes, you know, an issue of priorities, but also then really realizing that we can make these things more simple and easy, and that's what we hope to do through the family meal efforts that we're developing.
And long-term, folks, is that we're hoping that this impacts healthcare costs, because if you and I don't have to go to the clinic as often because we're eating a little bit better, and maybe our blood sugar has gone down a little bit because we're making a small change, that'll help us in the pocketbook.
Absolutely, and not only the medical center or health care, but also you know, as the consumer in saving money. You know, one of the things that we do is we educate kids. I mean, I talk with 3rd and 4th graders, or we have some of our volunteers, because this isn't about me. This is really about, you know, the over 100 different volunteers that are engaged in different levels with Mower Refreshed. But we do education with 3rd and 4th graders, where we even talk with them about what are the things that determine your health. And when they start to get it, that going to the doctor is only a small part of that, but actually their behaviors and their relationships and their environment that they live in are things that really impact their health most, and they can influence those things. So it's really exciting when you start seeing, you know, 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds say, so even though we might eat at a fast food place, I can choose to not get the super size, but get regular, or choose to get an apple instead of the fries. So, you know, it's empowering them to be able to make those choices that we hope will be lifelong decisions for them.
Sandy, I always learn a lot when you come on the show. From Mayo Health System, Albert Lee and Austin, the Austin campus, Mayo Clinic, a big sponsor of Mower Refreshed.
Absolutely.
And you learn a lot by being part of the organization too. If you check out their Facebook page, Mower Refreshed, Wellness Wednesdays, you get a lot of information on there, and you can volunteer. The group is always looking for new folks with expertise to come on board and help out. So
absolutely.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Eric.
And
Thanks.
Congrats on this wonderful program.
Yeah, thank you.
Stay tuned. Bosco and Officer Eric Blust will be joining me next.
You can watch On Cue anytime by visiting the KSMQ-TV website, ksmq.org.
The Austin Police Department has 2 Belgian Malinois police dogs. Primary duties of the Canine unit: narcotics detection, tracking and searching for criminal suspects or lost persons, evidence and building searches, and criminal apprehension or officer protection. One area in which canines are extremely useful is as a psychological deterrent. Often the sight and sound of a well-trained canine on scene is enough to prevent offenders from resisting arrest and can cause hiding suspects to surrender peacefully once a warning is issued that the canine is coming. And we're very pleased to have with us today one of Austin's canine teams, Officer Eric Blust and Canine Bosco. Welcome to you both.
Thank you for having us.
And you two have been together 5, 6 years, something like that?
Approximately 6 years now. Yep.
And do you always travel together, or sometimes do you have shifts without Bosco?
No, whenever I'm working, he's working right alongside with me. So.
And do you do regular patrols, or are you called out usually for special circumstances when the canine is needed?
Combination of both. I do work my regular patrol shifts, which is 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. currently. But we get called out. I mean, we're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so we're available at all times if something happens out there.
Now, Bosco is quite an exuberant chap, you've told me beforehand, but you have him occupied with a like a chew toy right now, I see.
Yep.
And he has gone through so much training that you were able to, we didn't have it on camera here, but when you came in, even with all the lights and the activity going on, the cameras and people, he was very calm. You had a few simple commands, and he was pretty much intact and just kind of mellowed out. So you have quite a bit of, you can change that with just a simple command, I suppose.
Definitely, yeah. Obedience is huge in this line of work, so they always have to respond to what we're asking them to do. They get rewarded for that, and if they don't do what we ask, then they don't get rewarded. So that's how it's a training issue there, and but the whole idea around that obedience is huge. I mean, they have to listen to us and only listen to us as the handler as well.
And that's specialized training. Does Bosco stay with you at your residence when you're off duty or just when you're on duty?
He comes home with me after work, so he is a family dog as well, I guess you could say, after we're done working.
So that's kind of there's an emotional connection also.
There is, yep. It's a very neat thing. It's nice to have Bosco around. I mean, when somebody comes over to the house, he definitely lets us know, and so it's good protection as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you set out in your law enforcement training? You've been an officer for
approximately 13 years. Yep.
Did you have special training coming out to be with a dog partner, or did that just come to you?
That just kind of developed once I got hired here. And I was here for a couple years, and I started working alongside those officers that were in the Canine program at that time, and came to a liking, I guess, with it. And I came across a dog that was donated to me at the time, and just to learn some more and get more knowledgeable in that field. And it was fun. It was a huge challenge. It's always a great challenge, I guess, with the training and what we deal with out there. So it's just another aspect of the job that I enjoy doing.
But I would think there's a lot of added responsibility, because it's not enough that you're thinking about yourself and your own actions at a scene, but you're also kind of responsible for the dog.
No.
As we see here.
Yeah, correct. There's a lot of responsibility that goes along with this, and that's why we take great pride in what we have. The obedience, again, is a huge key, I guess, and so it's something to where once those things are established, we like to maintain those, and we work hard at them. So.
Do you have a story of Bosco and how his talents helped you on a case or on a scene that you can think of?
I guess there's several that come to mind. We use them on the street quite regularly. Narcotics is a huge area where they come into play.
From smelling, like sense of smell?
Yep. Traffic stops or search warrants. Their keen sense of smell picks up on things that obviously we as humans don't, and so they definitely are very useful. I don't know, there's just their main use is a locating tool, I guess, in the big spectrum of things. And so a lot of times it's the narcotics end, but we do a lot of tracking as well. So that's
missing persons. They get a scent of an article of clothing or something, and they can help you.
Correct. Yep. If somebody's missing, we can go off of a scent article, track where that person left from, and hopefully find that person. Incidents where burglaries, robberies, where the suspect may be involved in something and take off running, we can bring the dog out, and the dog can catch that most recent scent in the area, and we're off and running, tracking that person.
And I hate to admit this, Eric, but I do watch cops on TV. Sorry about that, but so I consider myself an expert because I watch TV, But one thing I've noticed when they have the canine units on is that just saying it, where they're looking for a suspect, like in a house or something, and they won't come out, they just say, "I've got a dog and he's going to bite you." And miraculously, sometimes that's enough to have the suspect come out.
That is, very correct. I mean, that's a lot of times. Most of the time when we're on scene with something, when we're utilizing the dog, we give canine commands or warnings, if you will. And so if we're targeting a suspect, they know that we're going to be utilizing the dog, and an apprehension may take place with that. So a lot of times when they hear those warnings, they'll come out with their hands in the air and give up. A lot of times also just getting the dog out of the squad car and walking up to a scene, people see that dog, and it helps us out quite a bit. So.
And very interesting. Now, earlier today, and I don't know why this was, but my crew, the whole team here, was adamant. Oh, Eric, we want you to do this segment where you get attacked by the by Bosco. Just kidding. I mean, but we do have a demonstration earlier today. I participated in an in a test here to show one of Bosco's talents. What are we gonna do? What did we do?
It's a short apprehension, just to show what the dog does when he grabs a hold of somebody, and it's a safety thing for us. So when we encounter a suspect, the dog's taught to grab a hold of somebody. Typically it's an arm down, and he's told to hold on to that person until we tell him to let go, until we determine that everything is safe with that person, and that's what the demonstration kind of shows.
Okay, let's take a look at that. So do I have to say release, or will you just do it after?
No, I'll say.
You do it after.
I'll say everything. Yep.
Okay.
Stay. Get him.
Oh man, intense. I give up. Honest, I give up.
Heel. Good boy.
Wow, very powerful.
Where? Goodbye.
Good job. My gosh.
Silly dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, well that was a nice experience and a very interesting, a good learning experience, Eric, and I really appreciate you coming and bringing along Bosco. Thanks, bud.
You're welcome. Appreciate the opportunity.
All right. And we'll be right back. Since I've survived, we'll be back with a Vision 2020 update when we come right back.
Queue up your own comments for On Cue and send them to us at onq@ksmq.org. On Cue's Vision 2020 segment is brought to you by Hormel Foundation, Games People Play, and Turtle Creek Estates.
And we're back for our Vision 2020 segment. Matt Cano from the Community Rec Center Committee joins us. And Matt, what's going on in Community Rec?
Well, thanks for having me, Eric. Well, we've gone a long way in the last year, starting from getting a group together and then moving on to hiring a company for a feasibility study and getting the results back, and now on to the next steps.
And outlining kind of key leader interviews. You're doing phone surveys to try to find out what the community, how we could best benefit from a rec center?
Exactly. The feasibility study started in April of 2013 and it ended in the late June of 2013. And that feasibility study was 400 phone surveys through the Austin community and the surrounding areas. And leading up to that, we had 21 interviews with key leaders of the community. It really ran a diverse gamut. We had the schools involved, the college involved, the leaders, the business leaders, the senior center leaders. Really, we tried to cast a wide net of important people in our community to find out what we needed, where we may have fell short in our community rec center.
Oh, as we stand today, like what could we do better in the future?
What do we have? What are we missing that could make us better?
Okay, and what happens next now that we have this study?
Well, the results of the study are back, and there's a lot of excitement in town. I think what the results show is most of the people are really excited about the possibilities of a community rec center. Not only that, the results also showed that we believe that we are living in a healthy community, but that we do need more space to recreate, especially through our Minnesota winters. There is a need for more indoor space for our community, and it's not just for kids, it's for adults and it's for our seniors, it's for everybody in our entire community to come together and have a place to recreate.
That's interesting that wintertime we need more, because we have many months when we're stuck inside, and partnerships are very important, and you mentioned a few of them with senior citizens groups but there are all kinds of Riverland Community College, for example, probably lots of partners that we haven't thought a whole lot about partnering with a rec center.
Absolutely, and that was part of the results, is we need to partner on the community rec center. We don't want to duplicate our services, so that's another reason that we come together and collaborate. We're working right now pretty tightly with the Riverland Community College, the Austin Park and Rec,
YMCA,
the YMCA, correct, and then also the Austin Public School District. Those have been the main partners at this point, and they were identified that really need to come together and try to work together on the community rec center.
So does the report do we have dates or timelines or a location, cost?
Well, that's really the next step where we're at. We don't have a location at this point, but what we're doing is all the programming results from the feasibility studies, all the programming needs that we have. Is what we're doing is we're trying to find a design and a space, trying to find how much area we need. Once we find out how much area and space that we need, from there we can start narrowing down some of the locations. We really have not narrowed it down, we're really leaving it wide open to where it could be.
Well, thanks for your service, Matt, and thanks for joining us.
No problem, and thanks for having me, Eric.
You bet. Matt Cano, Recreation Center. And that'll do it for this edition of On Cue. Don't forget, if you like this program, check us out on KSMQ.org and become a member today so you can help us as we pay our bills here in Austin. See you next time. So long.
On Cue is a production of KSMQ Television in Austin, nonprofit public television.